Okay, today we're going to be talking about the number 666. And hopefully by the time this video is done, you will understand what and who is in control of this entire structure, this entire stage, if you will, that is planet Earth. And you will be able to basically figure out, hopefully with all the evidence I'm going to provide for you, that even this country's flag, even this country here, is in direct control of one specific entity. And it will remain so until the second coming of Christ. So everything that you're seeing right now is basically a stage, and unfortunately a lot of innocent lives are being lost in this stage. But I'm not only going to be fixated on this symbol here, because I'm going to show you, because I want to show you really who really has all the control. Okay, you got people like Alex Jones and these other types of people that basically, they'll go up the power structure, and then they'll basically stop at the banking cartels, and then that's it. Okay, but you have to ask yourself, well, who controls them? Because there's even a entity that's even higher than them, and that is the tip top of that whole structure, with the all-seeing eye being Lucifer, or Satan, as we all know, today. Well, hopefully most true Bible-believing Christians know. So I'm gonna kind of dive into this symbol a little bit. I'm gonna show you the significances of it. I'm gonna show you how you can see 666 in it, and then we're gonna get into 666, and we're going to basically pinpoint what 666 belongs to. And those that are yoked up with the beast, the number of the beast is part and partial yoked up with the beast and yoked up with 666. A lot of times it's ignorantly, yes, but at the same time, and that's fine. But there comes a time where the time of ignorance God winks at, but then commands everyone, everywhere, to repent. So once you're shown the truth, then it's up to you to take it to God in prayer. And it's up to you to come out of her, my people. Because that's really the whole basis of the message, is come out of her, my people. And I want to tell you right now, that the term Zionist or Zionism, you ain't going to find the term in the Bible. You ain't going to find Zionism in the Bible. You ain't going to find Zionists in the Bible. Okay? It's nowhere in there. Okay? You have people sprouting out the phrase Christian Zionists, I'm a Christian Zionist, and these types of things. Folks, there's no such thing as a Christian Zionist. Okay? You're either a follower of Jesus Christ or you're not. And the whole thing with Christian Zionists is not, it's basically, how can I put it? It's basically an excuse to support something that is controlled by the end-time beast, basically. Okay? And we're going to get into that. And I'm going to get into this right now. So, again, you can be angry with me all you want, but given the quotes and given the evidence that I'm going to show right in front of the screen here, then you are going to have to make a conscious decision yourself and take it to God. Okay? This is commonly known today as the Star of David. Now, I know a lot of people probably already know this, that this is not, this was not intended to be the flag of Israel, because Judaism, Orthodox Judaism, basically says that the menorah is, the menorah is the primary symbol of the children of Israel. Okay? Now, if you look here, you see the hexagram. The Star of David is the hexagram, okay? Now, if you look real carefully, I'll show you this. How many points does a hexagram have? Obviously it has 6. 6 outside points. You can count them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. You have 6 triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 triangles. And the polygon in the middle has 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this whole emblem right here that is flying over the state of Israel at this time is screaming at the people 666. Okay? Now, before I get into all that, I want to read you this portion here of Revelation 13, 17, and 18. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast. We're just going to be concentrating on the number of his name. Okay? The beast, if you really study it out, it can be no other than the Roman, the Vatican, basically. Vatican City. Okay? The political kingdom, the religio-political kingdom. And then you obviously have the church that sits on this beast, okay, which is the religious aspect of this political kingdom. And this is without a shadow of a doubt, because when you look at Daniel chapter 7, you can go through all the kingdoms and you'll come to no other conclusion that this is Rome. Alright? Now, Rome is governed by Pontifex Maximus, which was a title of the Caesars given to the papacy. Now, therefore, the man is the papacy, led by the Pope. So you have 2 criteria here. The number of his name, which is the beast, which is the kingdom. Okay. And I want you to also pay note that what language does Rome speak? It's Latin. We're going to get into that here in a moment. And it says, "Here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. We see this same number repeated in the Old Testament in a reference to Solomon, I believe somewhere in the aspect of where he had 666 talents of gold delivered to him. And this is basically right around the time of him falling into apostasy. Okay? So I want you to pay very close attention to the word beast here. Because we're going to go to the Hebrew to look at what the Hebraic term for beast means. Okay? I want you to pay attention to this letter right here, this modern Hebraic letter right here. This is going to be significant. And I'll show you why in a moment. But the Hebrew word for beast is K-E. And it goes on right here, but what is very significant is this primarily means life or living thing, whether literally or figuratively. Now, we're not talking about a literal beast rising up out of the sea. I mean, if that was true, then that'd be a very interesting sight indeed. So this has got to be a figurative meaning here for beast. Okay. Now, if you look up the word for Lucifer, you have Hillel. Hillel, does that ring a bell? Meaning the Hillel calendar that is in reference in use in Judaism today. Hillel, Lucifer, even the 4th month is named after Tammuz, which is basically, and what was Hillel? It means Lucifer, light bearer, or of the king of Babylon and Satan, figuratively, or Hillel describing the king of Babylon. And who was that? Nebuchadnezzar. Who is the king of mystery Babylon today? Well, in the fleshly form, it's the papacy. And who is the prince and power of the air? Well, obviously it's Satan. Okay. And you had this guy by Hillel II come up with a fixed calendar incorporating the Babylonian months, where Scripture, except for Aviv, I think maybe one other month, I'm not sure, but the way God numbered the months was simple: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It did not have names. The naming of the months came from Babylon. Okay, so I just want to bring that out, especially when you look at Hillel. I'm not going to get too much into that. That's way off topic. The topic. I'm kind of paraphrasing there. But now, we just made reference to the Star of David, or the supposed Star of David, which is not the Star of David. There's a lot of evidence concluding that this was the shield of Solomon. Now you have all of these people talking about they want to rebuild the temple. Well, if you really look at the esoteric version of that, is they want to rebuild not Zerubbabel's temple, but they want to rebuild the temple of Solomon. Okay? And they're not talking about Solomon before he fell into apostasy. They're talking about Solomon of when he was in apostasy. And there's a lot of evidence supporting the fact that this hexagram was the shield of Solomon. And we see a reference here in Acts 7:43. Yea, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god Remphan, figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. And Amos 5:26, but ye have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch and Chiun, your images, the star of your god, which ye made to yourselves. So, Judaism, Orthodox Judaism can claim, this is basically why Orthodox Judaism, on behest of them not accepting Jesus Christ as Savior, but at the same time, this is another reason why they did not want to accept this. They didn't want to accept this star as their primary symbol. Their primary symbol in Judaism was the menorah. Okay? But again, when we look at the aspect of faith, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So are we supposed to rely on symbols to show us who our God is? Or do we have Scripture and do we have prayer? Do we have one-on-one communication with the Father through the Son? So is symbols really necessary? No, it's not. So even though you have Judaism, which says the menorah is our symbol, not the hexagram, not the Star of David, but at the same time, they are blinded in part, and they don't have this aspect of of faith, basically. Okay. Because they got to be able to see it, they got to be able to have a sign given to them, they got to be able to have a physical aspect of work for salvation, where it says that for by grace are you saved through faith. Through faith, it is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. Okay. And obviously we are saved through the salvation, which is Yahshua, which is Jesus. Okay. And at this point in time, there are some that are converting to Christianity, and there are those that are still blinded in part. Now, I wanted to bring that out because this Star of David is it is basically yoked in with Zionism, and Zionism only. Regardless if you are a Christian Zionist, because you'll see it in Christian Zionism circles. If you want to call yourself that, and you want to support that fact, then you have to also realize that you are supporting the fact of what John Hagee supports. You are supporting the fact of what that symbol is. That is the Star of David. Regardless if you expose it or not. Okay. And you are basically in lockstep supporting the 666. Okay? I'm not trying to say that to ruffle your feathers or anything. But you got to understand, this whole Zionism is a creation, and this whole Zionism is controlled. And yes, we know that God is in control, okay, of all of everything. He's letting these things play out for a reason, but at the same time, God has given Satan a short period of time to basically give him the aspect of the prince and power of the air. Okay, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. And Satan in the New Testament is considered the prince and power of the air, the ruler of this world. Okay, this world. That's all of it. Satan tempted Jesus in the wilderness and said, I will give you all the kingdoms of this world. That didn't exclude Judea. Okay, that didn't exclude that. That included that. All means all. Everything. Every bit of it. So when you understand the aspect that everything that is set up is being set up to basically set up a counterfeit version of prophecy to deceive, if it were possible, the very elect. And this is one of the main proponents of this. And this symbol is very key. Okay, and I'm going to get into it right now. Okay, so I'm going to read you a portion of this page here from the Cutting Edge. And again, as with all my videos, I try to attempt. Sometimes I forget, but links will be provided below in regards to the topic at hand. Okay, so and this is basically talking about the six-pointed star, all right, which is commonly in reference to the Star of David today. Now, one of the most sensitive issues with which secular Israelis and many Messianic Christians struggle is the hexagram on the flag of the modern state of Israel. And I will want to venture as far as to say is Messianic Christians in regards to Christian Zionists as well. Okay? Satanists recognize this symbol as one of their favorites and most powerful, i.e. the hexagram. However, secular Jews and many Messianic Christians insist that this symbol is not a hexagram, but is the Star of David. Such apologists also insist that the symbol has to be all right because King Solomon was the one who selected the symbol. We write this article in order to set the record straight, hopefully for the last time. The House of Rothschild was the moving force, both politically and financially. Now, we're going to get into who actually... The question when you look at the two biggest monarchies still in existence today is Rome and Britain. And again, a lot of these people, very sincerely, I'm going to add, like to put the pinnacle at the top of the echelon with the British monarchy as the driving force of everything. That they have control of the Vatican, they have control of this and that. But folks, I'm going to provide you with a video I really want you to watch and pay very close attention to. Because the aspect of who has control, British and Rome, comes in the aspect of who owns the crown. Okay, and there's a lot of historical evidence that, at first, yes, British held control of the crown, but that was only if that they remained obedient to the papacy. There's been certain things that happened, in the Middle Ages and these types of things, and eventually the crown got transferred over to the Crown Templars, which were a military arm of the papacy. So in a sense, really, and still to this day, the crown really belongs to the Vatican. So when you look at the House of Rothschild, who actually, out in the front, it controls all the banking institutions and these types of things. That is true. But we have to look at what orders they belong to, and see who controls those orders to this day. And obviously whoever controls those orders has the ultimate control of it all. But again, a lot of people very sincerely would like to attribute everything as control belonging to Britain. I would like to say that everything, as far as the aspect of control, belongs to the beast, which is Rome. Or the Vatican. Vatican City, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. House of Rothschild was the moving force both politically and financially behind the original Zionist movement of Jews back to the land of Israel. The satanic Illuminist Rothschild began the Zionist movement in 1896, funded the agitation through 1948 to get Israel reestablished back in the land, and has owned the leadership of Israel up to the current day. To see the reality of this fact, now actually we're going to get into who actually owns Israel to this current day. And you can see evidence of that with just the recent things with King David's tomb, wanting to be signed over to the Vatican and these types of things, okay? To see the reality of this fact, you only need to examine Israel's flag, the most satanic of all symbols, the hexagram. We have posted several articles on this subject, which if you have not read them before, you need to stop and read them as background for the information contained in this article. These are the previous cutting-edge articles, and the one says, fervent Masonic desires to rebuild Solomon's temple on the Temple Mount is also driving force behind all Middle East events. Jewish authors confirm cutting-edge analysis of the black magic Masonic control of Zionism, Israel, and current Middle East events. And properly understanding of the most important Illuminati planning documents, the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, which is, again, a document that was basically penned up by Adam Weishaupt, who was, in fact, a Jesuit. Okay? So, who is basically the mastermind behind the pen who wrote the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion? Again, it's Rome. Okay, so the hexagram is Satan's symbol for Israel, while the menorah is God's symbol. Again, we can't really get involved in ourselves with symbols, okay? Listen to Dr. O.J. Graham above as he begins our discussion. The quest began at York University, Ontario, Canada, when an Orthodox Jewish friend of mine was investigating Messianic Judaism. The Star of David is not Jewish, said an Orthodox Jew. Well, is it Jewish, Judaism, or Zionism? I smiled. Dr. Graham speaking. Not my brand of Judaism. We used a menorah, Orthodox Jew replied. Can this be true? Is it possible that God's mandated menorah is the real symbol for ancient Israel and not the Star of David? Okay, so it's the symbol of Judaism in the aspect. Okay, God doesn't need a symbol for him to be represented. Heaven is my throne, earth is my footstool. That's all you need. Okay? So I'm going to leave the link here and you can go ahead and finish reading this. I mean, it is a very good article and everything like that, but again, I will advise caution in the aspect of, just because a menorah is a symbol of Judaism doesn't mean that, that's something we need to encompass into our Christian lives, into our lives, into our following of Jesus Christ. Okay, because Christianity is not about symbols. All right. Okay. Well, obviously, this is a very true statement here. Zionist movement was funded by the Rothschilds and had a kin relation to Freemasonry. In 1897, the hexagram became the symbol of the Zionist movement. Okay. Now, I'm going to read you this paragraph right here. In most Jewish synagogues, a bright burning flame represents their God. The Hebrew word for Lucifer is Hillel. Okay? Remember we went over that? Strong's Concordance H1966, meaning bright light. Curiously, this is the name chosen for the Jewish student organization. The Jewish six-pointed star is the highest symbol in the occult and goes under various names. The star of Moloch, Saturn, Remphan, that we just read in Acts chapter 7. We read about the star of your god, Remphan. The Hebrew word symbol right here, okay? Remember that? Right there. And this right here. Okay. Worn around the necks of many Jews, ostensibly symbolizes life. Okay, or Haim. Or the word literally translates to a living thing or beast. We went over that. Okay. This symbol is an idol for the beast. So who's in control? The beast is. Which the dragon gave the beast its power and great authority. Six triangles is the Egyptian hieroglyphic for the land of the spirits, Church Ward, page 177. Ancient Egyptian seal of Solomon, Church Ward, page 188. In the astral mythology of the Egyptians, we find belief in the first main god Horus and his death and resurrection as Amsu. This six-pointed star was the first sign or hieroglyphic of Amsu. Amsu, the risen Horus, was the first man god risen in spiritual form, Church Word. Page 3, 65, and 38. It is Satan who is the god of our planet and the only god in the order of divine evolution. Saturn, Satan, astronomically, is the seventh and last in the order of macrocosmic emanation. Blavatsky, page 234. I'm just quoting here. So, the Jewish Star of David secretly honors Lucifer under the disguise of Remphan, the ancient Egyptian star god. In Acts 7:39-43, the blessed martyr Stephen blasted the Jews prophetically, declaring, "Yea, ye took up the tabernacle Moloch and the star of your god Remphan, figures which he made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon." Okay, why is the Star of David on the back of the U.S. $1 bill? We're going to see that here in a moment. And also, so we know there's more to these lines by the fact that the hexagram is a satanic symbol. We know that the hexagram is used in witchcraft and Satanism, and we know that whoever has control of this center here has control of the area, and we know that the influences that are coming into Milton Keynes is coming through the hexagram. It is coming into this area, and that is where the majority of the people are. UFOs, earth grids, and crop circles. It's kind of strange, but here we see the Vatican. You know, the circle with 6 points on it. 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, representing the spokes of the wheel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you have this. I think that if it looks like to me the serpent with the tail in his mouth. Here is a Sumerian cylinder seal, and if you look real carefully, you can see the six-pointed star right there. This is an ancient cylinder. You can see the hexagram there, the six-pointed star, the supposed Star of David. Here we can see the Baphomet cross within the Star of David. You can see it there. And the Christian cross right there within the Star of David. The peace symbol. Here's the Pope sitting behind a chair in Jerusalem, mind you, with the inverted cross, and you can see that engraven in this six-pointed star as well. Now, in Judaism, Jewish Judaism, you have the light, and you have the phoenix wings. You know, you have this Olympic torch or whatever, and then behind it you have the six-pointed star. This is a rotary symbol hexagram. I don't know why they put the pictures of music here, because they're advertising the five-pointed star, which is bad in and of itself, but I don't want to get into that right now. This is not the David star. It's a five-pointed star, not a six. So I think they kind of messed up there. There's Boy George, obviously. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Aha! There's the winged sun disk right there, and here you see there the six-pointed star. There you have the Ankh. There you have the Eye of Horus. Saturn. This is Earth, Wind, and Fire greatest hits. There you have the cross. And you see that little symbol there? There you have the Ankh, Eye of Horus again, and the menorah. And you see this whole pyramid structure, all the religions united as one. There you see right there, Evan Rachel Wood, H, six-pointed star. Sion, six-pointed star. And here you have Justin Timberlake presents Ancient Gregorian Chants, Volume 1. And right there on the cover there includes a new single, Crimeon Apocalypse, the Dark Side Chorus, and then you have the six-pointed star. Smashing Pumpkins, the same thing. Oh, and then they have a cross there, I know. And also you can see the serpent with the mouth, with the tail in its mouth coming together here. Mormonism, six-pointed star. Jehovah's Witness, there you see it right there. Pastor Russell, Brooklyn Tabernacle, will lecture on his return from a tour to the Holy Land on the subject Jerusalem, 3 o'clock p.m. Sunday, June 5th in the Opera House of the Brooklyn Academy of Music. All are welcome, seats free, no collection. Here we have Annuit Coeptus Novus Ordo Seclorum, announcing the birth of a New World Order, which actually you can spell this out where these points connect. M-A-S-O-N, Mason, six-pointed star. There you see it again. There you see it again. Grand Lodge of Denmark, six-pointed star. And you can see all these five-pointed stars in the way that it shapes up to a hexagram, six-pointed star. There are 13 stars above the eagle's head that shape the Star of David on the back of your dollar bill. Los Angeles County, California Sheriff Department, six-pointed star. So who really is in control here? Remember I went over 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sides of the polygon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 6, 6. 6, 6, 6. 6, 6, 6. Theosophy. Oh, there's the swastika. Again, the serpent with the tail in his mouth. Here you have the crown. Six-pointed star. Tim LaHaye Prophecy Study Bible. Six-pointed star. And the man of sin himself. Again, who's in control? The beast. Six-pointed star on his Dagon hat. And you have the six-pointed star again. 6 points, 6 triangles, 6 sides of the polygon. There you see it again right here. Near to the black throne of Saturn in the Vatican, the Vaticano, we found the statue of St. Peter, which really was a statue of Jupiter, which the Romans called Saturnus. We can see in his throne and hexagram the six-pointed star of Saturn. Right there. And Zionism, there you go. Zionist poster of oak leaves. These are the hexagrams here. This is business, basically. And there's the Eye of Horus, or the all-seeing eye, the square and compass, the black and white representing light and darkness. 322. For man has become one of us, has become like gods, knowing good and evil, basically. That's how they basically turn that upside down from Genesis 3:22. And we have, again, the hexagram, right there, right there, right there. Socialist Zionist Youth Movement emblem. And the reef. If you look at the fascist symbol, the fasciae, and if you look at, a lot of times you have a reef above the fasciae, it means all power in one man. Okay, and there again you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the six-sided polygon with the fleur-de-lis symbol right there in the middle. There you go, business. Right here. There you go. You see it all over the place. I mean, this symbol is all over the place. Dodge Brothers. Here you have Cologne Bonn Airport. Right there. Washington, D.C. And here's some other... you can find all of this here just in, probably where you live. Everything's in plain sight of who really is in control. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It goes on and on. The Great Seal, a decipher of the all-seeing eye. And I don't know why he put snowflakes in there, but that has nothing to do with it. So you see, over and over again, the hexagram is related to 666, and 666 is the number of the beast, and it's the number of a man. Okay? Where else do we see 666? Hidden 666 and logo. Okay, here we have some pictures I want to go over with you. Let's go ahead and click on this right here. Pepsi-Cola, the new Pepsi-Cola symbol. And there you see it. 6, 6, 6. It's an upside down 6, or actually right there. You have 6, right? 6 and 6. Cadbury eggs. 6, 6, 6. You see it? 1, 2, 3. Disney. There you have a background 6, 6, 6, 6. Coca-Cola. If you kind of take it apart a little bit, you will be able to see your 6, 6, 6. Let's go and look at another one. Okay, the chrome symbol. 6, 6, 6. There you see it. 1, 2, 3. 6, 6, 6. The Trilateral Commission. Right there. 6, 6, 6. Let's take a look at another one. National Institutes of Health. Well, if you look at it very carefully, you'll see 6, 6, and 6. All of them connecting to form a pyramid, by the way. And let's just look at all this here. Now, this equals up to 666 because of the Hebraic numbering system. You see it there with the whole Windows, Microsoft Windows, 666. Pavilion, 666. Obviously, we have Coca-Cola. The barcode, a lot of people know about that. Heineken, upside down, okay, is 666. Trilateral Commission. All of it. All of it. Walt Disney, 666. So really, who is in control? Here's another one. 6, 6, 6. Kind of brings it out here more. Alright, here's CERN. Okay, 6, 6, and 6. 666. Okay, so now we're going to look at 666. Oh, and here's one. You know, 666. You remember in the movie, this is off of Day After Tomorrow, the three superstorms. If you remember that, 666. You can see that and that symbolism there. And let's go on and continue. And again, here we have the six-pointed star, six mini triangles surrounding, six-sided hexagon, two equilateral triangles, which is 60 degrees each, 60, 60, 60, 666. The zero is irrelevant, so again, you have 666. Now, we're going to look and see the astounding, and I mean astounding, overwhelming evidence of where 666 rightfully belongs. And you're going to see who really is in control of this whole thing. And then we're going to go a little bit further. A lot of people already know this one, Vicarius Filii Dei, Vicar of the Son of God. This is one of the Pope's titles. And if you look up the numerical aspect in Latin, you have 5, 1, 100, 1, 5, 1, 50, 1, 1, 500, and 1, equaling up to 666. The literal meaning, vicarius, substitute for or in place of the Son God. In place of the Son of God. That's one of the Pope's titles. Let's go and take a look at another one. Below excerpt was taken from Michael Scheifler's Bible Light homepage website. Quote, I have recently received what seems to be reliable information that a photo may exist of a papal funeral in St. Peter's Basilica near the beginning of the 20th century in which the tiara inscribed with Vicarius Filii Dei can be seen. Combined with the above claims of our Sunday visitor, this would indicate that it was the funeral of either Leo XIII or Pius X, and that previous popes probably wore the tiara in question. If anyone can turn up this photo and make it available to me, I will post it in this article. Okay, eyewitness testimonies claims that Pope Gregory XVI, 1831 and 1846, wore the inscribed tiara during the Easter Mass of 1845, and that the word Vicarius was on the top crown, Filii on the middle, and Dei on the lower crown, the word spelled out with jewels, the number of his name. Okay. Here's another one in Latin. This is another one of the Pope's titles. Captain of the Clergy, D 500 V 5 X 10 100 5001. Clary, Captain of the Clergy, spells out to be 666. Another one in Latin. Vicar of the Court. Okay. Laduv, whatever. LVDOVICVS. You look up the numerical value of that, comes out to 666. Now, in Greek, the numeric equivalents of the Greek letters can be found in the Encyclopedia Britannica under Languages of the World, Table 8. Here's another one of his titles in Greek. I protera means 10th, first of two. And again, it equals up to 666. I protera. Latinos, the Latin-speaking man. Again, equals up to 666, 31, 300, 5, 10, 50, 70, 200. Note, Latin is the official language of the Roman Catholic Church. Church doctrines are usually published first in Latin and then translated from the Latin into other languages. The association of Latinos with 666 was first suggested by Irenaeus from 130 to 202 AD, who proposed in his Against Heresies that it might be the name of the fourth kingdom in Daniel 7:7. Then also Latinus has the number 666, and it is a very probable solution, his being the name of the last kingdom of the four seen by Daniel, for the Latins are they who at present bear rule. I will not, however, make any boast over this coincidence. Okay. The Latin kingdom. You know, what does a beast symbolize in prophecy? It symbolizes a king or a kingdom. This is in Greek, the Latin kingdom, he Latin basilia. And if you go and look up the numerical value of this, E 8 L 30 1 310 5 8. 2, 1, 200, 10, 35, 10, 1 equals up to 666. Italian Church, Italica Ecclesia, Greek, comes up to 666. Greek, apostates, again, ST comes up to 6, and then the rest, 180, 70, 300, 8, 200, 666. Even in Hebrew, a numeric equivalence of Hebrew letters can be found in the Encyclopedia Britannica under Languages of the World. Rometh means, again, Roman Kingdom. Rometh, 200, 6, 40, 10, 10, 400, 666. Again in Hebrew. Romety, Roman man. Again, it equals up to 666. In Greek, by the way, there is one more name that equals 666. Satan in Greek is Titan. Satan, 305, 10, 300, 150, 666. Latin, holy light of God. Sancta levex Dei. Again, adds up. When you do up the calculations of the Roman numerals, it adds up to 666. Now, notice if you remove all the letters that do not have numeric value, you are left with Sante. Okay. If you slide the N to the right 2 spaces like you can in the name Santa, you will end up with Satan. The word Satan equals Satan in Latin. King of the Roman priests, again in Latin, Rex Latium Sacerdos, comes up to 666. Now, this is the first time ever that this has happened. One more thing that I'm sure will amaze you. Pope John Paul II is the very first pope in history to actually fulfill this prophecy twofold. As far as my research bears out, I have never seen a pope's give name equate to 666. His titles, yes, but his given name as pope, as far as I can tell, this happened first with John Paul II. And here is his Latin equivalent to John Paul II. And again, you look all the figurations out, and it comes up to John. Iones equals 1. Paul, Pavlis equals 60. And the second equals 605, which totals 1 plus 60 plus 605, 666. The number of his name. Count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So, again, the Jesuits were put in power by the papacy, and their main goal was to restore the temporal power to the Pope, in which it is being done today. Through his many military arms, the Jesuits in itself is a military order, and they have many military arms. One of them is the Knight of Malta, and again, their control is the banking systems, the economies, and these types of things, setting up all the wars, playing parts on both sides, everything in order to restore the temporal power to the papacy. Everything that's going on with illegal immigration and everything like that has all ties back to the Vatican. And this right here is very overwhelming as far as what 666 is concerned. And when you look at the Star of David, it comes up to 666. It's not coincidence that that star up there, that hexagram, is flying over Judea right now. They're showing you who has control of that kingdom, of that nation. Okay, this is out of VaticanNewWorldOrder.com. And I'm going to read just a couple of quotes here. I'm going to read the first 2 paragraphs, or the first 3 paragraphs here. Quote, "The Grand Council and Sovereign Military Order of Malta had headquarters in Rome. These knights of the Papal Caesar control the banking, industry, and military complexes of the world. They oversee Chase Manhattan Bank with branches in Moscow and New York. They rule the international intelligence community, the KGB in the East, and the CIA in the West. This is the most compelling evidence so far as to who is involved in the events going on at the moment. Just in case you have not yet connected the dots, Chase Manhattan Bank was a Rockefeller bank and merged with J.P. Morgan to form J.P. Morgan and Chase. In the most recent edition of Forbes magazine, J.P. Morgan was listed as the wealthiest company in the world. So not only does the Vatican control the world's wealth, they also control all the intelligence networks throughout the world. The Holy Catholic Inquisition that claimed the lives of over 60 million people is the forerunner of what has become the modern-day intelligence community. In fact, Jesuit headquarters is in the same building as the headquarters of the Inquisition. In order for you to understand how the Vatican has been controlling world affairs for over 2,000 years behind the guise of fake governments, be they dictatorial, democratic, or communist, it doesn't matter. It is important that you know who some of the members of the Knights of Malta and St. John are. Here are some of the names, both past and present. William F. Buckley Jr. founded the magazine National Review and hosted 1,420 episodes of Firing Line from 1966 to 1999, and was a nationally syndicated newspaper columnist. Prescott Bush, father of 2 U.S. presidents, CEO of the Nazi Union Banking Corporation. So, who controlled the Nazi movement? He guessed it. Knights of Malta. Or the Jesuits. Or Rome. Whichever one. Rome is basically the tip of the sphere here. Okay, you have George H.W. Bush, George Walker Bush, William Casey, Francis Spellman, Terence Cook, Archbishop of New York, Edward Egan, William Joseph Donovan, the founder of the CIA, John Farrell, Pat Buchanan, James Yussus Angleton, Charles Joseph Bonaparte, General Alexander Haig, Heinrich Himmler, started the SS in Nazi Germany. Heinrich Himmler. Hitler's right-hand man. Knights of Malta. And it goes on and on and on. I mean, as we can see, there are prominent men who are Knights of Malta, and as we have seen, they have great wealth and power and pretty much control everything. They control all the media, both print and broadcast. They control all religions and political scenes, as well as controlling all the money. The Knights of Malta is, in other words, another name for the Crown Templars, which in itself is controlled through the Pope. Okay, and this video right here, I'm going to link it. It's called The Beamable Sustainable Princes. I'll put the link in the description box below. I want you to watch this because he goes into very, very good detail of the crown to see who really has control out of the 2 oldest monarchies in existence today, the Vatican and Britain. Now, again, remember this little symbol here. There you go. There you see 666, Rothschild Global Financial Advisory. Israel. Rothschild has a long history in Israel, and the Rothschild family has played a significant role in the development of the country. The connection with the region began as early as 1855 with the creation of a hospital, and later the Rothschild family helped to fund the building of the Knesset and the Supreme Court. Rothschild also helped establish Israel's agricultural industry, who basically controls the Rothschilds, who are the government of the Vatican Treasury, which means, you know, the Vatican puts their wealth into the Bank of Rothschild, but the Vatican has all the rights to take their money out if the Rothschilds step out of line. So who really is in control? Mineral extractions industries at the production of glass and wine. Today, Rothschild has a fully staffed local office in Israel, and our activities are supported by the expertise and contact network of our head of Israel office. This is the horse's mouth, folks. This is the horse's mouth. We provide advice to international clients on their transactions in Israel and advice to Israeli clients on both domestic and cross-border deals. Our service focus on M&A and equity advisory, as well as debt financing, advisory, and restructuring. Clients benefit from our local knowledge and contacts, as well as from Rothschild's unrivaled network of industry sector and product expertise and our exposure to global markets. Our notable recent assignments include advising Kamada on its U.S. $59 million IPO on NASDAQ, 10 Capital on its U.S. $196 million follow-on offering of Caesarstone stock on the NASDAQ, the State of Israel and the Israel Election Corps, IEC, and the creation of a national fiber to the home company, Converse Inc., on its U.S. $1.9 billion merger with Verint Systems and the U.S. $134 million disposal of Solbar Industries to CHS Inc. Previous deals include Cool Holdings acquisitions of 45% stake in Hot Telecommunications, Altus acquisition, Ltd's acquisition of Mrs. Communications Ltd, the acquisition of Sagat Investment House Ltd by Apex Partners, and the disposal of Enercal Enterprises Ltd by Electra Ltd Limited. Wow. Okay. Very, very, very powerful group here. Okay? And yet, even this very, very powerful group is not the most powerful. And you hear of all these secret dealings with the Vatican. They want to give the tomb of David, King David's tomb, over to the Vatican. Vatican already controls 60% of the religious sites over there right now. The Rothschilds have control about 90% of Israel. So really, who is really fomenting these wars? Who's fomenting the Hegelian conflict between Palestine or Hamas and Israel right now? You got it. Rothschild. Long history with knighthood. Long history with Knights of Malta, who control both sides of the conflict, creating a thesis, antithesis, and obviously the synthesis will probably be possibly another seat for the Vatican, including the one they have, and the rebuilding of the Temple of Solomon. And what is that going to do? That is going to be basically everyone who is lockstep in futurism prophecy about a 7-year peace treaty in Israel and these types of things could very well get their counterfeit peace treaty from a counterfeit 70th week of Daniel that has been cut off and put into the future, which is obviously not biblical, in order to deceive, if possible, the very elect. And that's why everyone's looking over there, because they want to be raptured. When are we going to be raptured? When are we going to do this, folks? Futurism was a creation of the Jesuit order, and whether you want to acknowledge that or not, that those who are linking themselves up with that doctrine of a future Antichrist to take away the sting from the papacy is in itself supporting the Jesuit doctrine of futurism from Francisco Ribera. Okay, and again, this is my message that I am giving you that comes from the book of Revelation, where it says, "Come out of her, my people. Be not partakers of her plagues." Don't have anything to do with the world's systems. Don't have anything to do with supporting either side of whatever camp you're on. We pray for the lives that are at stake, and hopefully we pray for those that are sincerely active in the respective militaries, that the scales would be removed from their eyes, and that they will see the true power and the salvation of the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, that is what we do. But folks, this whole political aspect here is nothing more than also a stage. They created this state in order to bring about the start, in order to bring about their World War III plan. That is what this was created for. So they can create chaos in the Middle East. And out of that chaos, they can bring in their new world order out of the old world order. That is what the plan is all along for this state. It has nothing to do with helping the Jews. As a matter of fact, you go to True Torah Jews Against Zionism and watch the video on the right hand of the screen and see how these Orthodox Jews really feel about this. They understand it. Many of us Christians don't. And it's those that will probably end up getting their eyes open. Very, very quick. Very quick. But this right here is another pawn in the game. And unfortunately, millions and millions of lives. There is a lot of blood letting that has gone on in the history of this land here. A lot. All because of the aspect of religious wars. Totally contradicting love your enemies. Pray for them that persecute you and pray for them that despitefully use you, as Jesus said. And in the constant conflicts. But sooner or later it's going to come to a head, and they will get their brief period of peace. But true sudden destruction will come upon them as a woman travailing and, about to give birth. And that man of sin will be destroyed by the brightness of his coming. But again, this is the stage. This is the setup. World War II was fomented to basically get rid of communism in order to set up a Zionist state of Israel. World War III was basically the culmination of the setup of this, was to keep the Christians divided on this issue, where you got Christians supporting Palestine and you got Christians supporting Zionism. And folks, go on Facebook and like the page whynotnews.com, and then look at the comments of each article that gets put out, and you can see the deception right in front of your faces. Total hate for either side. Total hate. I mean the very most brutal words you will hear. Does that seem like that there is a dividing line? That these Christians are being divided on this issue? Oh, I think so. Because we need to come to the conclusion that our kingdom has no continuing city. Our kingdom has a heavenly city whose builder and maker is God. Our kingdom is not of this world. And we have to come to terms with that. And part of coming out of for my people is coming out of this deception. And folks, this is not anti-Semitism that I'm bringing out here. This is fact. This is who is in control of this whole thing. The flag in and of itself tells you who's in control. The six-pointed star, the 666. It doesn't get any clearer than that. I mean, you can even look at all the symbols here. Here you have the Eye of Horus and all of this. I mean, who is in control? That no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark of the beast, or the mark, save that he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. That unanimously applies to the papacy, headed by the Pope. The confirmations are in Greek, Latin, and Hebrew. Every single title of the Pope, even a Pope in and of himself, his name actually equated to 666. Out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. Folks, I just gave you 10, 15 witnesses. That's really all I have to say on this matter, and it's really all I have to share at this present time. Folks, wake up. Wake up. I mean, this whole political state here is another delusion. It's another delusion. This is no offense to the Jewish people, and if it's meant, and if any of them take offense to what I have said that may hear this video, it is not my intent to do that. But folks, have I become your enemy because I tell you the truth? The truth sometimes hurts. The truth isn't always cookie cutter. The truth isn't always fluff. The truth is the truth. And Jesus Christ said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man, Jew nor Greek, cometh to the Father except through him. And that is the truth. You're not gonna have salvation based on your support for Israel. That is not included in your salvation. Your salvation is by grace through faith alone. And what is the definition of faith? It's the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Folks, it's time we look to the kingdom that is not of this world. That Jesus Christ himself said, the kingdom that he belongs to is not of this world. Are we followers of him? Then we need to be followers of him and follow what his word says. Will we stumble and fall? Yes, but we have an advocate with the Father. You gotta make the choice. Truth be told, truth be known, stay safe. God bless. We'll see you next time. The links will be posted below. And again, I strongly recommend that you watch this video, The Beamable Sustainable Princes. It's quite lengthy, just like this one is. I think you'll be very surprised as to which monarchy rules over the other one. A lot of people like to lay claim that it's the British monarchy that rules over everything. Folks, that's just out in the open. Yes, out in the open, they control all the banking institutions and these types of things, but who are they subordinate to? And what after you watch this video and you look at the links yourself and then search it out yourself. And you will come to know the conclusion that it is Rome. It is the Vatican. Again, I want to thank you for watching. Truth be told, truth be known. Stay safe. God bless. See you next time. Bye-bye. It goes on right here, but what is very significant is this primarily means life or living thing, whether literally or figuratively. Now, we're not talking about a literal beast rising up out of the sea. I mean, if that was true, then that'd be a very interesting sight indeed. So this has got to be a figurative meaning here for beast. Okay. Now, if you look up the word for Lucifer, you have Hillel. Hillel, does that ring a bell? Meaning the Hillel calendar that is in reference in use in Judaism today. Hillel, Lucifer, even the 4th month is named after Tammuz, which is basically, and what was Hillel? It means Lucifer, light bearer, or of the king of Babylon and Satan, figuratively, or Hillel describing the king of Babylon. And who was that? Nebuchadnezzar. Who is the king of mystery Babylon today? Well, in the fleshly form, it's the papacy. And who is the prince and power of the air? Well, obviously it's Satan. Okay. And you had this guy by Hillel II come up with a fixed calendar incorporating the Babylonian months, where Scripture, except for Aviv, I think maybe one other month, I'm not sure. But the way God numbered the months was simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It did not have names. The naming of the months came from Babylon. Okay, so I just want to bring that out, especially when you look at Hillel. I'm not going to get too much into that. That's way off topic. The topic. I'm kind of paraphrasing there. But now, we just made reference to the Star of David, or the supposed. Okay, today we're going to be talking about the number 666, and hopefully by the time this video is done, you will understand what and who is in control of this entire structure, this entire stage, if you will, that is planet Earth. And you will be able to basically figure out, hopefully with all the evidence I'm going to provide for you, that even this country's flag, even this country here, is in direct control of one specific entity. And it will remain so until the second coming of Christ. So everything that you're seeing right now is basically a stage, and unfortunately a lot of innocent lives are being lost in this stage. But I'm not only going to be fixated on this symbol here, because I'm going to show you, because I want to show you really who really has all the control. Okay, you got people like Alex Jones and these other types of people that basically, they'll go up the power structure, and then they'll basically stop at the banking cartels, and then that's it. Okay, but you have to ask yourself, well, who controls them? Because there's even a entity that's even higher than them, and that is the tip top of that whole structure, with the all-seeing eye being Lucifer, or Satan, as we all know, today. Well, hopefully most true Bible-believing Christians know. So I'm gonna kind of dive into this symbol a little bit. I'm going to show you the significances of it. I'm going to show you how you can see 666 in it. And then we're going to get into, okay, this is commonly known today as the Star of David. Now, I know a lot of people probably already know this, that this is not, this was not intended to be the flag of Israel, because Judaism, Orthodox Judaism, basically says that the menorah is, the menorah is the primary symbol of the children of Israel. Okay? Now, if you look here, you see the hexagram. The Star of David is the hexagram, okay? Now, if you look real carefully, I'm going to show you this. How many points does the hexagram have? Obviously it has 6. 6 outside points. You can count them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? You have 6 triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 triangles. And the polygon in the middle has 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this whole emblem right here that is flying over the state of Israel at this time is screaming at the people 666. Okay? Now, before I get into all that, I want to read you this portion here of Revelation 13, 17, and 18. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast. We're just going to be concentrating on the number of his name. Okay? The beast, if you really study it out, it can be no other than the Roman, the the Vatican, basically. Vatican City, okay? The political kingdom, the religio-political kingdom. And then you obviously have the church that sits on this beast, okay, which is the religious aspect of this political kingdom. And this is without a shadow of a doubt, because you look at Daniel chapter 7, you can go through all the kingdoms and you'll come to no other conclusion that this is Rome. All right? Now, Rome is governed by Pontifex Maximus, which was a title of the Caesars given to the papacy. Now, therefore, the man is the papacy, led by the Pope. So you have two criteria here. The number of his name, which is the beast, which is the kingdom. Okay. And I want you to also pay note that what language does Rome speak? It's Latin. We're going to get into that here in a moment. And it says, "Here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. We see this same number repeated in the Old Testament in a reference to Solomon, I believe somewhere in the aspect of where he had 666 talents of gold delivered to him. And this is basically right around the time of him falling into apostasy. Okay? So I want you to pay very close attention to the word beast here, because we're going to go to the Hebrew to look at what the Hebraic term for beast means. Okay? I want you to pay attention to this letter right here, this modern Hebraic letter right here. This is going to be significant. And I'll show you why in a moment. But the Hebrew word for beast is K-E, and 666. And, we're going to basically pinpoint what 666 belongs to. And those that are yoked up with the beast, the number of the beast is part and partial yoked up with the beast and yoked up with 666. A lot of times it's, ignorantly, yes, but at the same time, and that's fine. But there comes a time where the time of ignorance God winks at, but then commands everyone, everywhere to repent. So once you're shown the truth, then it's up to you to take it to God in prayer. And it's up to you to come out of her, my people. Because that's really the whole basis of the message, is come out of her, my people. And I want to tell you right now that the term Zionist or Zionism, you ain't going to find the term in the Bible. You ain't going to find Zionism in the Bible. You ain't going to find Zionists in the Bible. Okay? It's nowhere in there. Okay? You have people sprouting out the phrase Christian Zionists, I'm a Christian Zionist, and these types of things. Folks, there's no such thing as a Christian Zionist. Okay? You're either a follower of Jesus Christ or you're not. And the whole thing with Christian Zionists is not, it's basically, how can I put it? It's basically an excuse to support something that is controlled by the end-time beast, basically. Okay? And we're going to get into that. And I'm going to get into this right now. So, again, you can be angry with me all you want, but given the quotes and given the evidence that I'm going to show right in front of the screen here, then you are going to have to make a conscious decision yourself and take it to God.